Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll see about error handling in Python. So, what is error handling? Error handling is a kind of a feature where we'll be, using in our scripts, be it any language. So, to avoid the script is getting crashed, so we'll be using this error handling. And the reason why we need is it's like for better usability as well. And say your script is failing at a place and it's crashing, it's coming out of it. So in those case, the error codes are the reason, or it might be not straightforward, and it might be not useful for the user, or he has to decode it from that. So in case of if we are introducing the error handling, then we can give some meaningful messages, or a kind of exactly why it is failing or something like that. We can give it. And mostly error handling, we'll be using four blocks in our coding. So we'll just go through that. So first is try. So try is nothing but like the usual, whatever usual code we need to try. What's the usual logic we need to try? So we'll be putting that in the try block. And if it is getting failed, right? So if it is getting failed, we'll use except block. So in this block only, whenever any line inside the try block, if it is getting failed, then it will this code, this part of the block will execute. And there is something called else block as well. And so this happens is once we are trying something and it succeeded, and then it will come back to the else block. So if it is going on an exception except block, then it won't go to the else block. So actually the use of else block, right? So you can use whenever you are trying something, and if it's execute, if it's successful, then it will go to the else block. And the final thing is finally. So this is also one very good useful block. So why we need this? So in this case, right, say you are having some lines of code in the try block, so it will get executed. And uh, you have some code in the except block as well. So if try is getting failed at any point of the line, if it is getting failed, it will go to the except. And if it is the try block is successful, it will go to the else condition. So it's like a conditional, right? If one thing doesn't work, it go to the next block. And then so there has to be some place where be it any no response, let it fail or let it even success. So there should be one block which will execute based irrespective of the code, written code, right? So in those lines, you can use this finally block. Say, I can tell some scenarios. Say you are connect uh, basic example, right? Say you are connecting or you just opening a file using the open method. So using the open method, you are just opening the file, and this file opening logic is inside the try block. So this is my file. So in this line, you are opening it, and you are reading it. So okay, in except block, right? You can put it like unsuccessful or something, like allied unsuccessful. And here, once this try is getting executed and it is successfully open the file, you can put the logic file dot read, or read lines, or whatever it is. And now what you can do is you can finally, you have to close the file, right? So why do we need to put the close inside the finally block? Why can't I put here? Okay, say I'm putting it here. Okay, file dot close. And I have to do some logic, right? So I'm having some logic here. Say contents equal to file dot read, and some logic, okay, some logic here, and it is in the sixth line it is failing, okay. Then what it will happen, it will go to the except block and it will not even go to the else block or any block, so it will come out, say if you are not having the finally block. Then what happens, the file is still open. And consider a positive scenario as well, or say you are putting it inside the this block, a file dot close, so you are predicting, right, you are putting it here. And what happens, you are just opening the file and everything, there is no issue at all, and you don't have this uh, file dot close here, everything went fine, and then it will go to the end, else, or say consider there is no else means, then your else won't even execute. So in those case, like still the file is not closed, because it will not even go to the except block unless or until some line of the code is getting failed, right? So like these kind of places where you want to like kind of tear down mechanism, say you are connecting to any DB, or you are connecting to any networking devices, like you have a open session or something like that, file a kind of a thing, or you're opening a file. So in these kind of scenarios only, the finally block will become handy. So you can put file dot close here, and be it any response, finally once the file is getting open, right, it will get closed. And you can say what if no, like it is first line itself it is failing, and say like it's not even open the file, but you are initializing the file. So even in this case, say I'm just giving a void file name, file doesn't even exist. So if the file doesn't even exist, there won't be a object called as a file, and you're trying to close it, right? So in these scenarios also, like you can use like if file, you can add a condition, but if the file is opened, then definitely it will close. So you can add kind of these conditions, and you can handle this. So you would have got some idea, right? So your program, right, if there is any error, so it stops immediately when an error happens, and the user might see some scary traceback path, or it might not be a direct or user friendly message. So you have to read out, and you have to understand, and you have to decode from that. But say like if you are handling with if you are handling the errors in this except block, right, print unsuccessful, or you can even raise, I'll just come up with that in some time. So you can give some clear friendly messages to the user, and also like you can kind of retry it. You can have a retry mechanism. Say you are having some I'll give one scenario. You have a list of devices, but you don't know for what devices telnet is enabled and for what devices SSH is enabled. So what you will try in the try block, you can have a mechanism for that switch, and you are trying first a telnet, and it's failing because of telnet is specifically disabled on that device, and it's failing. And now in that except block, what you can do is you can retry it again. You can retry it, but this time you, instead of taking a telnet session using the netmico module, instead of taking a telnet session, you can create a SSH session. So in those case, your script is not stopping from there. You can have a alternative logic or something the other way, or a workaround. You can do it in the except block, and still your code will continue to execute, and you will not get stopped. Even if you need to stop, or if you need to raise the errors, you can just give a print message saying that this file is not opened or something like that. You can give useful messages, and also your code will not stop. You can also make it execute and continue further, but just it will print the exceptions alone. So these kind of things, the error handling feature will become handy, and it will be very useful. So we'll just see one example. Okay, so we'll take one analogy. Say like you are taking cash from the ATM. Okay, so in those things, you what it will happen? Um, there are multiple combinations, right? And there might be a chance for failing it at multiple places. You might be providing the pin wrong or something like that. So those scenarios you can and that application or a kind of a thing you can put it here. We'll take that as an example and see how it goes. So I'll just have the some default pin or something like that, or a correct pin. Okay, correct pin. Correct pin is we are just initializing it to an integer 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have something called user pin. Okay, user pin. User pin. Uh, okay, fine. User pin, and you are having some condition here. If correct, if user pin is equal to correct pin, you're just printing pin is correct. Okay, so we'll just execute this code. Okay, so now you are getting some error, right? Name error, user pin is not defined. So what I'm trying to do, I have not even initialized it. Okay, so now how we can, the script is getting failed. Okay, and now say you want to continue, even though user has not return the pin, right? You have to continue. Okay, so print remove the card or something like this as per the flow, right? So you are trying to do this application, and but what it is happening here, it will not even print the remove card, so he might forget removing the card. Or just for the example, I'm just saying the flow is broken here. Even though it has failed, uh, when you're doing it manually, right, going to a ATM, even though your pin is not correct, what you will do at the end, you will remove the card, right? So that instruction is not given here. Why? Because the code has broke here and it has crashed at this step itself. So it will not go or check the any other steps, or it will not execute even a next line or something like that. So here, what if we can introduce the try except error handling things? So I'll just put this in the block here. So what you can do, you can add the except block, and you can print here that pin is not given or something like that. You can give here, right? Pin is not given, and now what it will happen? Pin is not given and remove the card. So what you can do is like you can print, you can give this in a finally block. So even what the reason for the finally block is, if some issue is happening here in this line, right? So it might fail here as well. So for that reason, we are giving it in the finally block. So at the end of the file, this code will run. Okay, so we'll just put it here. So now you are just finally removing the card. And one more thing. So this except block, you are giving it very statically. And what you can do is like you can give it more interactive, or you can give it more reason specific. Okay. So I have given here. I have given the user pin. Okay. User pin is equal to, and this might not be the original case, but since for the code or explaining the analogy, I'm just giving the user pin as a string. Okay, like some random word or something like that. So what you can do is like you are typecasting here, say, like just to make the code fail, I'm just doing all these things. So you are just doing you are executing the script now. Still what it is happening, it is printing as pin is not given. But what's the real case scenario? You are giving a string and it is trying to compare it with the integer, and because of this scenario it is failing and it is going to the exa block. But this is kind of misleading message, right? The correct reason is the you are written a wrong pin, or you have written a invalid pin or something like that. That case should happen, right? So for that reason only, like we can raise the exceptions. So you can give it more specific. So I'll just check it here. If type of user pin not equal to integer, so in this case, I can raise a error. So raise means like it will, you are just pushing the code to go into the except block. So I'm just giving type error. So these are type error and the name error, value error. So there are some default error exceptions you can raise it. So I'm just raising it here. Raise type error, and I can give a value for it, or just as a print statement. User has entered a invalid pin. So you have put this. So I'll just print here. So for that, you have raised the exceptions, but you need to call here, right? Except type error as C print. You are just storing it into this variable here. As a E means like whatever exception is printed here, that will be stored into the variable E, and you are just printing it here. Now what we will do, we'll execute this. So it has printed correctly, right? The mechanism user has entered an invalid pin. And now what I'm even now it's not saying that the pin is not given or something like that. Now it is printing as the user has entered an invalid pin, right? Okay, so now we'll make it more complex. Balance. Okay, so you are just putting the balance as 500 rupees, and amount you want to withdraw is like some 600 rupees. Okay, for this case I'm just telling. So you are just we'll have some condition here. So you need only this, if the user pin is correct only, you'll go to the balance, right? So I'm just putting this inside this block. So say like the pin is correct, and now we are just checking if balance is greater than, okay, first things first, we'll put some wrong values here as well, jkl or something like that. This is just random. So if balance is greater than amount, we have to be careful. I have initialized with capital balance, capital B. If balance is greater than amount, print money debited or something, because you can take it more money, right? And else condition, in else condition you are putting print insufficient balance. So you're just putting it here, and now the script will fail. Let me just run it again. Okay, it has gone into the exception, but it is what it is saying. User has entered a invalid pin. Still, okay, I have to change it, right? My bad. Okay, I'll put the correct pin right now. Now we are trying. Okay, now what it is happening? It is throwing another error. Since we have mentioned it as, it is just printing this error, and now it is throwing pin as correct and except as E, right? So here we have added this. So it is printing the error as not supported with instances greater than symbol is not supported for instances between integer and string. So what you are doing now, again you are checking it if type of your amount not equal to integer. Okay, now what you can do, you can raise error. Now amount error. Okay, so you can even again raise the type error, enter a valid amount. So you are just putting it here. I'll just print this again, and this should go into the else block, right? So we'll put it here. So now you are trying to print it. Now what it is saying, enter a valid amount, it is saying, right? So again you can customize here. So say you want to put it more, say there are multiple kinds of type error, you can use it. There is no issue. But say you want to come up with your own error mechanism, like exception class. So what you can do is you can create a class of your own. I'll just give the syntax for that, and say you can have this error also as a user friendly. When someone is reading your code, instead of using the default classes, you can use your custom exception classes as well. So amount wrong error, amount invalid error, or something like that, you can use it. You have to create the class, okay, and then you have to call the parent class. Exception is the parent class, and what you can do is like you can this can be passed like you're using pass because like you are just putting a placeholder for it. I'm not going to change any logic here, but if you are not putting anything, it will fail, right? It's kind of an empty block. So just to give a placeholder in Python, developers used to put this pass block here. We'll see that in the upcoming sessions as well. Yeah, so you can use this instead of a type error, you can raise here as a amount invalid error. Okay. Uh, yeah. So now what we can do is like again accept amount invalid error as C, and print your message here. The same message will only get printed here, but instead whenever the here the error what you are raising, it's a different, it's just additional enhancements for more usability when someone is going through your code. So this is what we are doing it here. And this is the use of try block, except block, and else block. It's an optional block. Like you can put all the code inside the try block, but if you want to split it, say something is happening, then only you have to do this or something like that. In those things and all, like you can put it in the else block. And exception block is for whenever a code inside the try block is getting failed, like you can put it in the except block. And be it any reason you have to execute some part of a code, and it should be at the last. Okay, mainly so it will be executed only at the last, or if it needs to be compulsorily executed at the last, you can use the finally block. Say for closing a DB connection, or you are closing a SSH connection, telnet session, or even closing a file. So in these kind of scenarios, you can use this finally block. So now we'll just complete this code since we have started with this. What do you call? We have started with this application, right? So now I am just giving one valid amount, and that too lesser amount than the balance. So when is correct and your money is debited, now you have to remove the card. So this is a real-time scenario or a positive scenario which we have tried to make you understand for error handling here. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Yeah, thank you guys. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Thanks.